For nearly 2 years now, I have been working away at this little project down in the bush. And today, I start my final project. After this, my bush project will be 100% complete. Well, you guys guessed it. This is the final bush project I'm gonna do down here, the final tent. Final project. Maybe there'll be a few small things here and there, just maintenance stuff in future. But as for big projects, this is most likely it. Done here. Quite honestly, I am quite ready to move on with some newer things. I've been doing this series for a year and a bit now. I am quite ready to move on to some new stuff. I have ideas for new series and just things I want to try out. Because quite frankly, I think this project is done here. This is a good place to leave things. I'm satisfied. Now this isn't the end of the series. I'm still going to do like checkups where I kind of just showcase what's happening as time goes on and how nature interacts with what I've built down here. But as far as any of the major building episodes go, yeah, there won't be really any of those anymore. There might be an episode or two where we have Arrow, Beautiful Partner, maybe even King Toast over again. That'll be fun. But apart from anything major, it pretty much ends here. As far as this series goes, there's still other new series of new projects I do want to try in future. Without further ado, let us begin this final project. Of course it starts raining as I say that. Guess we're working in the rain. And so to work I got. I had all the materials that I needed already gathered. So I got my knife out, and I got to work cutting through into the tarp. I started unfolding the tarp, and this ended up being a really tedious process. I had to keep stretching it out, and it just kept getting caught on the different plants, and there was a whole nother side I had to flip over that I didn't even notice. Let's just say, trying to do it like a bed sheet and unfold it that way doesn't really work with tarps. I found that out. But I eventually managed to figure out that I had to unfold the middle bit, and then proceeded to go back to using it like it was a bed sheet, which does not a whole lot. It was pretty pointless. So I went around to the other side and started stretching it out so I could get an idea of how big it was and get an idea of what area it was going to cover. Alright, we got our tarp here all laid out. Now my plan is, and what I want to do, is I want to have it, the back of it attached to here, and then ropes or something hanging it up to the trees over here. Preferably not that one, that one's dying. Not stable in the slightest. Alright, rain is starting to come down, but I'm going to try at least get the back of this tarp nailed into the log at the back. Hopefully the termites haven't got it into it, because that is going to ruin my plans. But even if so, I'm sure I can find any other new location around here to put this storage tent. Anywhere up the back end of this property will do, as long as it's just away from where the flood water can rise up, because I want to keep my stuff safe. Anyways, before it rains any heavier, I'm going to get this done ASAP. And so I got to work undoing my nail jar and getting ready to hammer this tarp into the back tree. I got the resources I needed, got my hammer at the ready, and I got to work picking up both sides to hammer it in. Now I was originally going to go with this side first, but decided it was better off to go with the other side, because I can put it further back and get a better idea of where I want it regarding on this side, and then I hammered it in. I then got myself another nail, went over to the other side, stretched it out, and then I got to work hammering in that side as well. Then I began stretching out the front half to make sure that the plan I was going for was going to work, and luckily it was. Now it was time to get up the front half. I was going to tie each side to a tree via some ropes. Now, due to the design, it was going to be sloped, so any rainwater or debris falling from the trees should just fall off. I tied it with a rope, lifted it up, began unraveling the rope, and then I began hooking it to the tree and nailing it in. I then went on to complete this exact same progress with the other side, tying a knot to the tarp, then carrying it over with the rope to the best tree I could find, wrapping it around, tying it up with a nail, and project complete. Alright, I've done it. we have got our roof up, and the way I've done it right is, as you can see, it's sloped down that way following the tree branch, so any water on it I'm hoping just flows off down the end. Pretty similar design to the dining tent I did back there, just I guess a bit easier just because of the slope of the branch, but fingers crossed, and I guess we'll figure out now because it's raining, that should have all the water just slide off. And instead of tying the ropes to the trees, I find it's better to really get that nail in there and just wedge it in. It stops it from sliding. Because when you knot it to the trees, it can come undone and it can slide and make it all droopy. Like the main original tent, which needs to be fixed. But hopefully that stops anything from going anywhere. At least that's the hope. But this should keep our new storage nice and dry. So what I'm going to do is it's time to go drag that storage container out of the side tent and get it in here. And so I headed over to the side tent, took one last look of the storage box being in here, and then I got to work dragging it out and dragging it over to the storage tent. I dragged it all the way through the bush, had to clear some branches along the way, but eventually at the end I got it in after some heavy lifting. I reckon right here in the middle of this thing, best spot to put it, nice and dry under here. I think this is going to work out real well. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is use in here some of these clips. I'm going to make a nice little, item holder up the back here. And so I got to work putting this together. This proved to be quite difficult as it was just a really weird angle on the tree trunk, and it made trying to get anything to actually nail in extremely difficult. It was just such an awkward, odd angle. I just kept dropping everything. It was an honest nightmare to put this up on the first side, but once I had the first side in, the second side wasn't as bad, but it did kind of keep flinging everywhere and I kept banging my fingers, which wasn't too fun. But in the end, I did get it in. Guess that's that. That was a lot more difficult than I expected, but shelf. Now, I also believe that this here will make a neat little addition to the dining tent area, I think. Either that or even the paranormal tent. I don't know. This could fit in any of the tents, really. Unless I put in the side tent, actually. I actually think that makes a pretty neat centerpiece for the table. Actually, no. I've just had a way cooler idea. I will be right back, you guys. This is going to be cool. Alright, come on. Don't tell me this isn't a much cooler thing for this. Just coming out of the tree like that. I love it. Now, I guess it's kind of a weird thought now to think it's done. It's also a bit of a relieving thing to say that. After nearly 2 years, this project's done. That's it. There is nothing more that I want to do down here. Now I know I said a while back, right, about a flood net idea, right? Going around the place so if it floods it'll catch all the stuff. I actually decided, instead of that, I'll do the storage tent so I can store all of my important stuff up the back away from the water here. That's, I found, was a better solution than spending who knows how much money on a giant net to go around the place. This was much more cost efficient and probably is a better solution to that. But it's done. After nearly 2 years, I am done. I am happy, I am satisfied, and I am ready to call this bush project complete. There is nothing more I wish to do down here other than just have a good time. And to be honest, it's kind of nice to know I can kind of just spend the rest of my time down here just enjoying my work now. I don't need to worry about filming new stuff. I don't need to worry about which projects I'm going to do next. I don't need to worry about getting all the resources ready to do it. I can just enjoy it now. I can just sit down, I can enjoy it. And it's a nice feeling to have. I'm really happy with how this place has turned out. Now, I might do a few small things still here and there in the future, just small little stuff. But as for making any more tents, I can't see myself doing that. Maybe I will, I don't know, but I don't really see it happening. It's not on my to-do list at all. I am quite happy with how things are. And I know I've been saying this a lot, but I just want to make it real clear. This isn't the end of the series. I will still be doing updates of how this place does over time, for the foreseeable year and coming into 2025 at least. What happens after that, I'm not too sure. I will still do episodes where I have people over, like Arrow, King Toast, Beautiful Partner, just those kind of people. I'll do episodes of that. But Bush Life, the series that's kind of kickstarted this channel, is kind of in the later stages of the series. The project's done. Now it's just seeing what happens to it over the years as nature kind of reclaims it, I guess. That doesn't mean I won't be having other videos. I really like the thought-provoking documentary type videos I've been trying out. I really want to do more of those. I've got a new idea for a new mini-series, maybe not hundreds of episodes like this one turned out to be, just a shorter one that I think would be a bit of fun. That's going to be the next series I'm kind of going to get into. There's also Creek Life. That's a bit of a slower series, but still very much in development, so don't forget that. Yeah, there's still lots of new things coming. Just because this project here is done doesn't mean I'm gonna stop making videos. There is plenty more to come, trust me. But I guess with that said, let's finish us off with one final montage. As I look around at this project I've just spent the past nearly 2 years of my life doing, I reflect and think about all the good times I had here, all the bad times I had here, moments where I felt down, moments where I was excited. I remember a time when this series was about me building a bush tent trying to hide from the neighbours because I didn't want them to catch me, and it's grown into a full-blown campsite. Something I never even saw happening at the start of this series. Originally, I wanted to build a wooden lodge, but that plan didn't work out, which is why I ended up building a tent. But I never expected that tent to lead into many more tents. If I had never moved the tent from the old location due to those council reasons, I probably never would have even considered making another tent. In fact, this series would probably already be over. There wouldn't be documenting what happens after the project's done. There'd just be no series at all. It's kind of crazy to think about that. But this series isn't over yet, but the main project is. And I guess it's time to exit the bush knowing my job here is done and it is complete.